Hello, my name is Gabriel Papiano, and I'll be talking about the bubonic plague. At around 1300 CE, the world began to experience a mini ice age, where the temperatures began to decline suddenly, and this would last around 500 years. Due to this ice age, it caused shorter harvest seasons, which then caused famine. In northern lands, agriculture became practically impossible, meaning Nordic peoples had to abandon some colonies that they had been living in for centuries. When Europe was struggling with this miniature ice age, a new threat emerged. It was a devastating epidemic. This disease spread from southwest China, where it could have been affecting people for centuries. This disease infected rodents and fleas, which then spread the disease to people. Earlier, Mongol campaigns had helped spread the disease throughout China, and in 1331, an epidemic reportedly killed 90% of a province's population in northern China. In 1340, merchants and travelers spread the disease to the west of China. In Central Asia, the disease thrived in oases, and the plague had reached the Black Sea ports by 1346. By 1348, the plague was causing an epidemic in Western Europe. Victims developed inflamed lymph nodes and died within days of showing symptoms. Internal hemorrhaging caused the inflammation to appear as black or purple. The term bubonic comes from the inflamed nodes being called buboes. Europeans began to refer to the Black Plague as the Black Death, since it would kill up to 70% of its victims and could ravage a society in months. Entire villages and towns were wiped out by the Black Plague, and Europe suffered from this Black Death from the 1340s to the 17th century.
Hello, my name is Max Hopkins. I'm here to talk about the bubonic plague in chapter 22. So, the bubonic plague, wherever it would strike, it would spread quickly. Victims would rapidly develop inflamed lymph nodes around the neck, armpit, and groin areas. This would lead to internal hemorrhaging and inflammation known as buboes. I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, which gave it the term bubonic, and because of the black or purple swelling, became known as the Black Death. The plague would typically kill 60 to 70% of those infected and would ravage societies in only a few months. The northernmost parts of Europe survived relatively unscathed from the plague due to the colder climate. Along with that, India, for some reason, did not suffer as much from the plague. Along with that, sub-Saharan Africa, remained relatively unharmed in compared to lands hit by the plague. It took a century or more to recover for most of Europe and other places hit by the plague, and Europe's population was decreased by 25% to about 60 million. Islamic societies in Southwest Asia, Egypt, and North Africa took a devastating toll, and Egypt most likely did not recoup their population until the 19th century. Because of the tremendous demographic toll it took on societies, the plague disrupted the economy throughout Eurasia and North Africa. The plague killed the young, the weak, the old, especially, but they spared no group no matter what job or social standing. So the nobles, artisans, merchants, nobody was safe from the plague. This would end due to the lack of population in everywhere in Europe. There would be demands for higher wages, especially in urban areas, and political authority banning people from leaving their homes while also freezing their wages. Because of the sharply different interests, because landlords started telling the peasants that they were no longer getting paid as much, which became serfs. They became basically indented to the landlords, which caused the peasants to revolt, which would lead to a series of rebellions that was later extinguished by the political authorities. And by the 1700s, the plague would eventually lose most of its ferocity.